Hello, 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 people. Welcome back to an episode of the USL Show. We are back with a full crew of people. Hey, we missed last week, but kid season's been doing their thing, so check that out. But hey, we got some rocking kits and some rocking gear going on today, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that at the very end or right away. I don't care. Alex, how are you?
Doing okay. Just got back from a weekend in Raleigh, saw some live music, and tonight I'm sporting this awesome rock and roll collaboration Orange County Soccer Club hat because I cannot resist a good rock and roll collab.
Absolutely love that. John, how are you?
Yeah, doing well. Preview of coming attractions, and then I'm repping the Roots today. So when we get to predictions, maybe something there.
Love that. Ryan?
Doing well, yeah. We were talking about it a little bit before we started, but I saw the sun today, which was nice. It was a balmy, 60 degrees in Charlotte, so hard to complain.
Phil, you're cold.
It was a balmy 40 in Ohio, and genuinely, snow is melting now that has been on the ground for like 2 months. So I'm very excited to start to see my driveway again.
That's awesome. Hey, do you know what we like to see? We like to see Matthew Schaaf joining the Patreon family. He was our latest Patreon, and he is joining, of course, Doug Brooks, Stephen Howard, John Landlord, Don Garber, David Horn, Josh, Dylan Reed, William Land, Sandy Lester, Ryan Smeltzer, Matt Capio, Andrew Towsley, Alva Hedgehog, Kunal Patel, Emma West, NF Fresh 30, Tim Nosh, Rihanna Lacara, Jeremy Churchman, Noah Telford, Michael Fuchs, John Fuller, Christopher Cohn, Frank Anthony, and John Hunt. So it is very great to see people joining in with the Patreon. If you want to support us in not paid ways, like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. Before we get into our 90s, 50s, 10s, which is our 90% chances is going to happen, 50% chances is going to happen, 10% chances is going to happen. We're going to hit a little Super League. We're also going to talk a little bit. We practiced this before the show, so when I'm wrong, I apologize. Peter Luxian. Yeah? No? Sure.
Almost? Sure.
Almost.
Why not?
He is French, and he is now the head coach of the Atletico Dallas. He is their first ever head coach, and it's just a little bit more proof that Dallas is real.
I was critical of a couple expansion efforts in the past couple years who kind of waited to the last minute to nail down a manager and have that sense of direction. And I consistently cited like what Rhode Island did, getting Conno Smith in well ahead of time to let him dictate the direction, kind of build that organization in a sporting sense from the ground up. So the fact that Dallas is really treading that same path a full year in advance, getting Luke Sen in there, that is impressive forethought on their part. And he's somebody who has kind of all the things you want to see on a resume. Playing career in France and Spain at the highest levels. He knows the Dallas area. He was an assistant for FC Dallas for years, briefly their interim coach before Eric Quill took over. The fact that he has all of that, he seems like he's really bought into the project. Time will tell, but it feels like a home run.
Yeah, when I'm go ahead.
I was just gonna say it feels like they are punching a little bit above their weight, but at the same time, the fact that it is someone who's been in Dallas despite his long career in Spain, and I mean, talking about between Spain and France, you know, these aren't like slouch clubs that he's playing for either.
PSG, you know,
PSG, Bordeaux, Marseille, Atletico Madrid, like Celta Vigo. These are very, very serious clubs that he played at. And then to connect that with a guy who has genuine ties and time in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, like that to me is very, very... It's about the best combination of things that you could possibly find for an expansion team that is going to be looking mostly in, you know, as they get started to create connection with the community around them in a competitive soccer environment, you know, a soccer wars front line.
And he had 21 games as the interim manager for FC Dallas, which for that experience in MLS is certainly nothing to turn your nose up to.
Now check this back.
I think
According to Transfer Market, he has 7 appearances in USL Championship as a player for the Dallas Reserves. Is now known as North Texas.
Legend.
now wait, hold on.
Wait, now we're gonna
Now I'm
create.
not-
Yeah,
Now
you can
I'm-
see the gears going in Kaler's head right there.
According to Transfer Market, I didn't dive any deeper than that, but he apparently had, I guess, was loaned down to the Dallas 2 back in the day and has played in the what is now known as USL Championship.
Interesting.
I'll do some.
I'm gonna
I got
get
you,
in
Kaler.
a-
If you want to,
yeah.
If you want to keep running
Thank
the
you.
show,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll get on the
Yeah,
research assistant.
appreciate
here.
that. So one thing that I have appreciated from Atletico Dallas is that if you watch them on like just social media, and one thing that they have been really good about is staying alive, staying active. This is something that we talked pretty highly of other clubs. Sporting Jacks, I'm pretty sure they still do, but at the time when they weren't playing, they had like a whole podcast going for a while. Ozarks did for a little bit, but it kind of fell by the wayside. Maybe it's still going, but I haven't seen any updates recently from that feed. But they keep it going, and they've gotten people who are active in their community. Someone, if you're on Instagram at all, I think his name's like Soccer Dave, I believe is his name, and he's like a big influencer in the area, like a really big soccer influencer in the area. He is an active part of their building a brand, and they started getting in the influencers who are doing it from the ground up. They're building up support, and they're playing in closer to Dallas as opposed to FC Dallas, which plays in Frisco, which is it's not Dallas. I've known people from Frisco, and they will tell me it's not Dallas. It's not even like I live close enough to Dallas to claim it. They just don't claim being from Dallas. And I think that they have gone really hard into we're claiming this area, and bringing in someone right away who knows the area, has been around for a long, long time. I think this is a home run by them. I don't know how he's going to be as a coach. Truthfully, his time as an interim, I don't know what that actually means. But in terms of building a connection with the local area, I mean, John, you've talked about this several times with what Brooklyn's doing now. They are trying to get these local areas. What Westchester is really going after now. We're trying to get New York people. We're trying to get this part of New York. Atletico Dallas looks like they're trying to do that already, and I love that for them.
And what they've done with youth partnerships, they've got Brian Corcoran, father of Matthew Corcoran, for those in the know in the USL, and is the sporting director. They understand that you have to really build this up in a city where FC Dallas is in Frisco, but they have a presence. So if you want to do it, you got to go big, and they are making all the right moves to be able to do so.
Hey, Phil, it looks like you have really gone down.
Phil's
the rabbit
reacting
hole
to
here.
something.
Guys, what was going on in USL in 2013? Like,
USL Pro.
there was an arrangement. Okay, so this is back in the day, but there was an arrangement where the reason that it is listed as Peter Luxon has these 4 appearances is because MLS and USL Pro in 2013 started that like agreement that they had these affiliations, and there were certain teams that were affiliated with certain teams, but there wasn't an actual affiliation yet. It was these teams are going to play each other in 2 games that are going to count towards the USL Pro standings, but they're not going to participate in the league. So the MLS reserve teams played each other in a non-league like setup, and then played USL Pro teams in games that counted towards the league standings, in a year in which the Richmond Kickers finished top of the table and lost in the semifinals to the Charlotte Eagles. And Orlando City won the final that year 7-4 against Charlotte. So yeah.
Wild
And Peter
West.
Lickson made
And
4
it's-
appearances in that non-league MLS Reserve versus MLS Reserve whatever exhibition reserve league, whatever.
We got to bring
Just-
that back. Like, give me like Louisville's
MLS
playing
X
against
Pro.
Huntsville City. Yeah, right.
MLS Next Pro plays games against USL Championship teams that count towards the league, but they don't participate in the league.
Just seeing some of
mean-
the players that he shared the field with, like he was teammates with Walker Zimmerman in some of those games. He went up against Justin Merrim, who played for the Columbus Crew Reserves in
Yeah.
one of the games. Carl Ouimet was another opponent of his against the Chicago. Matt Fondy as well. And I think, there was one
Matt
game.
Fondy.
It was, against the Colorado Rapids Reserves. They had Wilmer Cabrera as Colorado's head coach
Let's
that
go.
Lucan started against for Dallas. So if you want a fun rabbit hole, just dig through some of the players that he was teammates with or played against in that time.
Did this podcast favorite player ever cross path with him?
Kudus.
That was probably well before his time, but I'm still clicking through some of the other previous games.
I mean,
Matt
I gotta be
Miazga
honest
was one
with
of
you.
his opponents.
okay. Talking about 2013 USL Pro is giving the same vibe as the Charleston Battery UEFA champions up there with Aston Villa and every other club that was up there. If you were on social media, you know. Any other thoughts before we absolutely dive back into this rabbit hole at the end? Because I am not done pulling at threads, but we got to keep going.
Wait. Hold on.
Okay.
This is the USL show connection.
Okay.
In March 9th, 2014, FC Dallas Reserves won 2-0 at home to Montreal Impact Reserves. The goalkeeper for FC Dallas in that match, Richard Sanchez.
Let's go. The mustache himself.
Incredible. Now here's a question about the Whitecaps. Would Alphonso Davies been kicking around yet?
Now, I said Montreal Impact.
Oh, Montreal Impact. I'm so sorry.
And I know Canada
I'm
might
sorry.
be all the same to you, but no,
Yes.
no.
Yeah, Kaler's a big 51st state kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Davey started his career in 2015.
Just
Okay.
missed it.
Well,
Just
there's I was wrong on 2 fronts. I love that for me.
Yeah. Wow. USL really has come a long way, guys.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about the CBA today.
Yeah,
Anyway, we're
they
moving
were just-
on.
Hey, I said they've come a long way.
A lockout is a true sign of a mature league.
Yeah. They're at least not playing non-league or games against teams that don't participate in the league. So, we've got that going for us.
This is progress, guys. Super League. Some Super League matches happened, and we took a while to talk about Super League because of playoffs going on. Then we talked about preview, and then we didn't have a show last week, and we didn't get to tell our friends in Lexington that their team is really good at soccer. And I apologize for that because Lexington is really good. They beat Carolina 2-1, and the first goal Lexington scores, they all count the same. But after you kind of get the goalkeeping mistake out of Carolina, that second half was just kind of joyless murder ball from Lexington, in my opinion. It just really feels like they put the foot down and just kind of choked the life out of Carolina. It was still strong, but still. I really appreciate what I've been seeing out of Lexington, but also I'm just going to shout out Riley Mattingly Parker because she will always make me believe.
Yeah, you're totally right with the Lexington take there. Kind of a tale of two halves for them, where I'm not going to say it was a struggle in the face of Carolina's high press, but Lexington had to feel things out, had to really determine what are the patterns we can rely on. And to their credit, they got there. Like getting Kat Berry really deep and involved in hold up, letting her find the ball on the turn and hit Mackenzie Weinert. That ultimately is the formula for the goal, but it was equally viable as their main press breaking route. And then the defensive performance laid on with that lead. That's everything that has made us so confident in Lexington all year long. The way that they just control games. The defensive line is unreal. Hannah Schartz and Fantuso, ridiculously good in central defense. There are so few holes you can poke in Lexington right now. I'm not going to say they're going to finish undefeated, but it is increasingly looking that way.
Carolina
And-
barely hanging on to a
Mine?
playoff
Oh, yeah.
spot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan?
It was a bright game for them in some ways. Like they did control where the match was being played for 45 minutes. That goal from Parker, that was all counter press, and then the fluidity of movement where she's making that cross-cutting run. Mackenzie George knows how to bring a player into the game. That feels like a template for Carolina, and they win this game against a lesser team most of the time. But Lexington is Lexington, and you have to be sharp for 90, and they just couldn't get over that hump.
And for a team who's now scored in their last 10 games, both teams to score in their last 6, like they had that period of stretch within September and October where 3 of their 4 games were nil to no results. Like this team is now getting hot at the right time. That I have to agree with John that I see no reason why this team can't go unbeaten for the rest of the regular season.
And yeah, I mean, you mentioned the counter press to John that I think it's not just Lexington relying on like, oh, we've got the best players and we'll just go win games off of sheer skill or class or whatever. They work extremely hard and they just make teams make mistakes. And I think it's a moment where Carolina, the winning goal comes from a moment where Carolina just doesn't sense the danger in we didn't get this ball completely out. And now Lexington is 3 quick passes from being fully in on goal. And it just shows how dangerous they are. The finish is really, really good as well. And yeah, it's just a team that you, like you said, you can't make a single mistake against because it can be over in a moment.
I don't want to oversimplify what Lexington does by saying go look at the heat map or go look at the average positioning that you can see on the league website. However, go do that because it is one of the cleanest, just like 4-1-2-3s, like 4-3-3 you have ever seen in your life. And the reason I bring that up is because Lexington, to start this split, has been so organized. To end last split, things were shaky. They were not closing out games. They would give up a late goal to get a draw, or they would get down early, have to score late to salvage a point. That has not been the case to start this year. Yes, they go down 1-0 because of Riley Parker. Or Riley Mattingly. I forget. Riley Mattingly Parker. There we go. I got there. But it just did not feel like Lexington was ever truly behind, especially after they get the first goal back. It was just so organized, so lethal, so strangulate, like just a stranglehold. It's super impressive what they are doing, especially defensively, where Ryan, talk about the goals. They will score goals, but John, you rightfully bring up the back line and just what they're doing defensively back there.
Yeah, they've got I think a plus 17 goal difference right now, and nobody else is even close to double digits. Some of that is they've got a stacked attack, but they're so smothering defensively. Like they run up the score just because nobody can get past them.
I'm going to ask a question, and this is not fair. This is just not a fair question. But for me, what I've been watching with Carolina, it feels like your front two of Mackenzie George and Mia Corbin should be great because Mia Corbin's going to drop into space, kind of act as a 10, and then Mackenzie George can just kind of roam on whatever space is happening. But it almost feels too disconnected at time where that duo should be so lethal, but it just never feels like there's been a connection this year.
I mean, the thing about them is neither is a actual number 9 by trade. You talk about Mia Corbin, she wants to be back to goal, kind of dropping in, holding play up, and George is a rover. If you put those two together, who's in the box occupying defenders? To me, that's where the disconnect happened of, yes, Carolina started this game well, but they have to force a turnover and get that short field opportunity to get their chance for Parker because there isn't a number 9 in the run of play in a traditional sense. They signed a forward, an ex-Chicago Red Star, whose name I'm forgetting right now over the break. I'm wondering if she can be the difference maker in that number 9 spot, because that is the one shortcoming right now. And it really could be make or break for the Ascent's playoff hopes. And when we get down to it,
Any final thoughts on this match? All right, well, let's go over to, hey, I talk about Joyless Murder Ball, and let's take it back to Dallas, where Dallas Trinity win 4-0 over Fort Lauderdale United. And it starts off early. There's a first half goal, and then it's just all snowballs against Fort Lauderdale from there. Dallas has quietly been a really, really good team this year, where they started off kind of shaky. And I think personally for me, that image of their start never really left my head, especially when you have, oh my gosh, and I'm blanking on her name. I can do it. Allie Thornton. Allie Thornton is not putting up the numbers she was last year. Both the actual goals, assist, and the underlying numbers don't look good. But then you watch her, and it's like every number is just not matching the film. The film looks so good on Allie Thornton, and it finally kind of came together in this match. No, I don't, and I could be completely wrong here. No, I'm not. Allie Thornton did score in this match, but if you watched it, she was creating so much space with off the ball runs, creating chances for other people to get open, to get the assist, or for Cameron Lancaster to get the assist going into it. She creates the space. So I feel like people might be seeing what's going on with Dallas and be like, oh, well, Allie Thornton isn't doing it. They must not be doing it. 4-0 says they are.
I will touch on Dallas real quick. Since we have started the show, Fort Lauderdale just fired Allie Rogers as their coach. So I think that tells you a lot about how this game went for Fort Lauderdale. That's a credit to Dallas more than anything else, though. You're absolutely right to focus on Thornton. For me, this was a midfield game, and particularly what they're getting from Heather Stainbrook, who they've loaned in over the winter break from the NWSL. She looked good in her debut, but it's hard when you are in your first game to really make that impact. The way that she and Wayne Bellata ran this thing through the pivot was hugely impressive for Trinity. I think if you want to try to stop Fort Lauderdale, you can't let Locklear receive on the drop. You can't let Stella Niamake get going as the number 10. If they're getting touches and then you've got Gordon and Hamid doing their thing out wide, it becomes this real matchup problem. And just the sheer effort that Stainbrook and Bellata brought in that phase of play, never letting those touches be comfortable, forcing turnovers up the middle was critical. And they're the first two to get on the board for Dallas because of Thornton and Leximissimo. It's the off-ball runs that are bending the shape out. Then you can cut back to a late arriving center midfielder. It felt like a level of balance for Dallas that we just hadn't seen all year. Every player understood what the role was supposed to be, came away really impressed with them.
And yeah, I mean, this was Fort Lauderdale's record defeat as a club. They only have 1 win in 11 games, and they've not scored multiple goals in any of those 11 games as well.
On the flip side of that, Dallas kind of needed this margin to get that goal differential back close to even after some of those brutal losses earlier this season.
We only have 2 teams currently occupying a playoff spot with a positive goal differential in the Super League, and the 2 other teams that don't have a negative goal differential are currently outside of a playoff spot.
I will say though, like, I mean, Dallas being 6 points back of Lexington with a game in hand for how good Lexington has been, like, it is still like fully all to play for. And Dallas have an opportunity, like if they can ride this wave a little bit from getting a win, which reversed like a 4-1 loss that Fort Lauderdale gave Dallas not not all that long, the first half of the season. Yeah, I think there's just a lot that they can build on here. And it feels a little bit, Dallas maybe feels a little bit like Brooklyn last year, where maybe the reverse of like very, very weak start to the season relatively, and now really coming on strong, and it feels like they've got quite the foundation to now spring on as it gets down to the business end.
And we do have Lexington v. Dallas this Saturday.
Fun. That is just fun.
Which Lexington hung 6 on them last time, I think.
Yep.
So work to be done for Dallas to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand.
Well, last time was a draw, I believe, because they played right before the split happened.
That's
Is that correct?
It was the last time Dallas had visited Lexington.
Yeah.
So, question is, Miss Simo starting to show what made her so great in college, or is she still waiting to take that next step? And I don't have her numbers in front of me, so someone fact check me, but I do believe she scored like 50 in 90 games. Like, it was a ridiculous return. Playing at Texas, playing in the Big 12 at the time. She never played in the SEC, but that was, I mean, just ridiculous goal return from Lexi Missimo. And I think you are seeing that the Super League is a significant jump, even compared to, because I think she was a women's U23 as well, where she got good goal returns. And playing against grown women every single week is just different than it is even just at the college level. You see some players who make the jump right away, like a Puerta down in Sporting Jags. But Miss Mo's taking a little bit longer, but I think you're absolutely seeing her class at this point.
Yeah, 56 goals and 89 appearances at Texas. I think 3 goals in your first 8 games as a professional. I don't know that that's even anything to to turn your nose up at. I think that it does seem like it's starting to click for her.
She's not really asked to be a scorer in the same way in this Dallas team. Like, it's more of a creative role. And you look at her numbers in this game alone over the weekend, leads the team in shots on target, leads the team in chances created, second most final third entry passes. She's doing what she's asked to be doing. And again, thinking about that first goal, it's her curling towards the right, kind of making this cross-cutting run with Cameron Lancaster that creates all the space and makes it happen. She knows how to be unselfish. Yeah, she can take the opportunity if she has it, but I think we're seeing the totality of what made her an intelligent and special player, even beyond those baseline goal scoring numbers.
Can I ask a Fort Lauderdale question before we move on?
Sure.
If you're willing to fire Allie Rogers 2 games into the second half of the season, shouldn't you have just gone ahead and did that during the split when your team can get used to playing with them?
So the press release says they will announce the new coach tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. So they've got somebody lined up. I wonder if this wasn't in the works, because if you'll remember back to the fall, Allie Rogers didn't actually coach the first game, like Tyrone Mears did, and then Allie Rogers became coach. To me, that's probably more of a reflection of Fort Lauderdale is just kind of run weird. But yeah, you're right in this question.
Are we going to get, and I hate to make everything about Legion, but are we about to get general manager becomes the head coach part 2 in the USL this year, where it's like, actually, I'll do it? Are we is Mears just about to do this?
He coaches 1 game, steps up to the front office, and then comes back. That's kind of baller. I'm not going to lie.
So, I don't know. Just kind of something on the mind. Any final thoughts on this match? All right. Let's go ahead and hit our 90s, 50s, 10s. This was something brought to us a few years ago by Ryan. So I'm going to go ahead and let Ryan explain what 90s, 50s, 10s are.
Yeah, so this is a prediction we've done on this series here where we will pick something that we think has a 90% chance of occurring, something that we think has a 50% chance, and then something that we're willing to put like a long shot, just kind of prediction on that we think has just a 10% chance of occurring. So, yeah, it's a creative way for us to kind of, I guess, spread around where we think our predictions will be going for the season.
All right. So with that, guys, really think about this before we go to it. And if you have any 90s, 50s, 10s going on in the chat, which by the way, if you're listening to this later, get into our live chat sometime. It's an absolute blast. But if you have any 90s, 50s, 10s, drop them in. When we start talking about them, we'll bring them up. We can discuss them if they are worth discussing. John, I'm going to start with you. 90%.
Okay, 90% chance my Oakland Roots finish top 3 in the West. I am just and I wanted to go with something somewhat bold, right? Like this is an Oakland team that was and has been playoff bubble for years on end. You think about Ryan Martin coming in. Do you know what he can do at a club like Loudoun United that doesn't really have the biggest resources, or at least they didn't in the past? He is such a tactician who has a clear understanding of style. Now you give him Danny Trejo, you give him the reigning Golden Boot winner in Peter Wilson, and you bring over a lot of the core pieces that made Loudoun tick. You get David Garcia coming in from Spokane. Everything about this is just good vibes in Oakland, and the West is wide open. Like, yes, FC Tulsa was dominant last year. Even beyond them, I think Oakland can go toe-to-toe with anybody if they really do click. So, hey, why not? Oakland, top 3.
Alex?
I think there's a 90% chance that a league newcomer wins the USL League One Golden Boot this year. It will not be
That's good.
a league veteran, because if you look at the churn of the people who scored the top last year, JC Obregon, Carson Henderlong, now Reed Steven, they're gone. They've moved up. Christian Cheney, if I believe he's going to return, he's probably good for about 10.
9 of them are penalties.
Yeah. Derek Gebhard probably might, who knows what to expect with Madison this year. But yeah, like I think it's going to be unless it's Bazzini, that's the 10% outside shot. I think it's going to be a league newcomer this year.
I mean, I was going to go ahead and sprinkle my 10% on being Yaniv, but honestly, I am so convinced that he's going to win Golden Boot this year.
Now, are you with him specifically? He is somebody who's very happy to be kind of the Lexi Missimo, like take a step back and create a little bit. With Dorado in the mix, I could see them both scoring a dozen. You know what I'm saying? Like they cancel each other out. That's my one worry.
Or
other side of
the
this.
mix.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking, or with Dorado in the mix, Bazzini will go on a tear and get sold mid-season.
Yeah, that too.
Also possible. For me, what I'm kind of looking at in terms of a Bazzini, because I'm really confident that he's going to be up there. It's honestly comes down to the fact that he is about 6'6", maybe 6'5", 6'6", and he's going to have people like Gomez, like Mensah, maybe possibly Kelly Rosales crossing the ball in and playing a quality ball through. Dorado's a great player, but he doesn't, at least from what I remember off the top of my head, doesn't quite have the same pace as a Bazzini. So even though Bazzini is a big body, you expect him to be the big person to kind of hold up the ball. I think that's going to be more Dorado's role. So I think he's just going to be fed non-stop throughout this entire season. So, Ryan.
Yeah, so my 90% chance is Tottenham will be in the championship next season. No, I'm sorry, that's 100% chance. But no, my actual one is 90% chance that we do not have a repeat playoff champion in either the championship or League One. The championship hasn't had a repeat playoff champion since Louisville did that in 2017 and 18. And we're still waiting on a repeat playoff champion to occur in League One. So it's not so much a slight against Pittsburgh or Knoxville. It's just that I think history works against them, and both of these leagues are going to be very convincingly competitive this season, that I feel like neither team ends up repeating as playoff champs.
Interesting. I like that one a lot. And I don't love that for Pittsburgh and one Knox fans, but I really like that 90%. Phil?
I had a couple of different ones, but I'm going to go ahead and just go with 90% Tampa Bay Rowdies host a playoff game this year.
Yeah.
We're talking about
that feels like a 99%, if you ask.
We're talking, hey, listen, I wanted to use the 90% to back my boy Dom and the project down there in Tampa Bay. We have seen plenty of projects like this one fall flat on their face out the gate. Of everybody's excited about the names, everybody's excited about like, oh, there's all this stuff going on, and they come out the gate, don't have it together, don't have any cohesion, don't have any like, don't know their best 11, can't figure out how to get guys to play together, all this sort of stuff. I think Dom Casciato like just figures it out, and they finish in the top 4 in the East in what is, let's be real, there are like 2 spots spoken for at the top of the East. So if he's pushing, we're really talking about 2 spots. So I think, I think Tampa Bay is back where we'd expect them to be, in that sort of big 3 or 4 at the top of the Eastern Conference this year.
I think
take those paper bags and that you put over your head last year and recycle them now.
Exactly.
I think Tampa Bay is closer in quality to Louisville than they are to Charleston. And I mean that as a compliment to the Rowdies.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. I think it's one of those where it's all going to be in like, do they have the guy to make it like real? And I think they do. That's the difference maker, I think, for this project versus other big spenders we've seen in the past. So welcome back to the home playoff games at Al Lang. Book it now. Buy your tickets.
Does that mean the next USL show thing can be down at the beach in Tampa Bay? That would just be fun.
Live from USL HQ.
Please.
Yeah. Please, Nicholas, let us in.
Then we'll really let us in.
Let us into HQ.
I really like that one. And I think one thing that Alex, you've talked about it. Everybody in League One talks about it. We talk about it on this show, and I think a lot of people who are kind of casuals, if you've listened to the show, you know this, but other people who don't really follow the leagues, they'll just kind of cover their ears and say that's not true. League One's a whole lot closer than you think it is. And they just signed all the superstars from League One. And plus some people who are already established in the championship from League One as well, where I think a lot of, in years past, people would have just turned their nose up and been like, oh, we don't even want to take a chance of these League One guys. I love Tampa Bay's roster build. I love that. I love the prediction.
It's the perfect mix of, you've got all the League One guys who are nothing but upside, but then it's Leland Archer and MD Myers and Russell Cicerone. Like, that's the blend you want to see.
So my 90, and I wanted to be a little bit more bullish, but I'm going to keep it right at 90. And it's that the Richmond Kickers are going to make the playoffs. I think that they're on the line of being a possible host of playoff game team. I really like the roster build that much, but even with what they have brought in this year and keeping the young guys, the young local talent that they have, I think that they have just kind of shored up the back line a lot more, because that really was the issue with Richmond. They were going to score 4. They were just going to ship 5 as well. And I think they shored up the back line a whole lot, and while still keeping that same firepower up top. They're missing a couple pieces from last year, of course, but I really think that you're going to be seeing the red wall just like in full force come playoff game. I do. I think it's going to happen, but 9% for sure making the playoffs, maybe like 85 that they'll host it.
The hosting thing is maybe a bridge too far, but I like directionally where you're going with that.
Sure, that's fair. I'm super bullish. There's a couple of other teams that I thought about throwing in there with possibly hosting, including championship, which I'll make my 50 the championship one. But still, yeah, I love the roster build for Richmond.
Obviously, I'll take that prediction, but I'm still in the wait and see cynical camp.
All right, 50%.
Okay, Connor Evans will lead League One in assists, which is probably not that bold a prediction, but there is so much that can be fluky with assists. I just look at, one, we know that he's going to be kind of the primary attacking midfielder in this team, so he's got that clarity of role. Easy to forget he was a right back at the start of last year. Two, you look at what Greenville has added. Deshane Beckford announced today, Boyce coming in, Azad Liati, Leo Castro's back. The sheer amount of attacking talent they've got with him feeding it feels like there's going to be more firepower for this Triumph team. If that is the case, Evan feels like a cinch to end up with the assist crown.
Love that. I think one thing that might make me a little hesitant on that, and I say that, I'm already going to backtrack what I was going to say, but I'm still going to say it. Rapapa Mensah did not quite hit there like we kind of thought he would, but that's still a goal scorer that you trust, and that might take a little bit of a hit with his production, but you still trust Castro at the top and Beckford out on the left, Boyce out on the right. You still love the talent that he's able to get the ball to.
Great set piece taker as well, and they've got those trees at the back coming back. It just feels like a lot of ingredients there for him.
Alex?
I was kind of hesitant. I was confident when I wrote it, and now I'm kind of hesitant to share it because now I'm like second guessing myself. But screw it. There's a 50% chance that Knoxville does not even make the playoffs.
Ooh.
After
Okay.
winning the championship. It's another one of those. They lost a lot of key pieces. They retained some key pieces. I'm not quite, you're not quite sure if the new players are gonna mesh the same way that the squad did last year. So you know what? I'll stick with it. 50% chance that Knoxville does not make the playoffs.
I don't
like
agree, but I like it a lot. They had, 3 players who they lost, or 4 players even, that were dominant in the course of the playoff run at some point or another. If you think about Tequila and Lewis and Sievert Haugli and Stuart Ritchie, they had moments where they were untouchable. I don't think they've got the quality to replace any of those guys. And yes, Mikkel Goling will step up in minutes. I really like Garibay and net. Beyond that, it's been a lot of okay moves in the context of a League One that got a lot better across the board. This is a good one. This is something to watch.
Ryan?
Yeah, so this year for League One, we have 5 expansion teams entering the league in Boise, Corpus Christi, Fort Wayne, New York, and Sarasota. My 50% prediction is 3 of those will be playoff teams. When we compare it back to last season when USL won, we had 5 teams entering the league that season. 2 of them ended up in the postseason with Naples and Portland. The only team that barely missed out on it was AV Alta, who missed out by a point on the final day. I feel like with having the balanced schedule is going to be to the benefit of these teams. And everyone, we're all very high on Boise coming into this league. And I feel like the Cosmos are going to make a good push. And then you'll have Fort Wayne, Corpus Christi in there as well, who I feel like can mix it up. So yeah, I say 3 of the expansion teams in the USL 1 this season will be in the playoffs. No promises on where they're seated.
Okay. You know, I had my backup 90% was that Boise was going to make the playoffs. But I'm pretty big on them, on their prospects for sure. I know I got burned by Westchester last year with the hype with all the veterans, but I think this is a completely different organization, different coach. So, Cosmos, I think could possibly make a run as well. The others, I'm still kind of waiting to see.
Buy that Fort Wayne stock. That I almost did a Fort Wayne top 4 thing.
Okay.
They're the one I've got my eye on.
I like some things. I do like some things I've seen with Fort Wayne. It's just it's a very young core that I'd like to wait and see before making any bold predictions about them.
That's fair.
I do like building around Ryan Beecher. That was huge, a huge sign there.
James Musa in the back line. The guy played 29 games for Indy last year and was great. He's like a full New Zealand international. That's quality in the back line.
Yeah. Okay.
Phil?
I want to say my actual 50-50, which is we have a season. But
also my backup 50-50.
That one hurts, man.
I know. I just, the tough thing is as I was going through, I was like, oh, there's a handful of teams that I could really meme here. It was like, oh, 50-50 shot. Brooklyn fields enough players to even play soccer this season. And it's like, but that's kind of the whole thing, right? Like we're all living under that, sort of Damocles right now of like the CBA could not go through and then we're just all effed. So, no, I hate to go I don't know. I'm going to go weird 50-50. Loudoun finishes above where they finished last year.
They finished
Loudoun
4?
is my Fort Wayne, where it's like they finished 5th because they had to
Loudoun's
travel
doing
to
this shit.
Yeah.
They're my Fort Wayne in that I've got like dumb amounts of belief in what Loudoun's doing.
It's like they finished 6th last year. Hartford's like a big question mark in my mind. I don't know. There's just like a lot of weird stuff going on out east. I don't really believe in a whole lot. And I think it would be really funny for the Lads protocol if Ryan Martin leaves and they actually outperform like where they went. Not to say that Ryan Martin is the problem. I'm just saying it would be funny.
They put 42 points up on the board, scoring 45 and conceding 48. Will you go above or below the 42 points? Not necessarily where they are on the table, just more or less points.
Like more points. Yeah. More points. I think they'll concede less goals. I think that'll be the secret to success. That'll be what they'll do in terms of climbing.
They also get 4 games against Jacksonville and Brooklyn.
Exactly. This is how I win.
Throw them in there. I mean, if we're taking your 50, John's 90, I mean, there's a real world where Oakland and Loudoun play in the final, and I don't think it's that insane.
If there's a final hosted at Loudoun, headquarters is going to be so mad that has to go on CBS.
It's going to be because it's not close to a Taco Bell.
Paid agitators, the only people in the crowd.
Hey, I'll drive up for that one. That's just an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours for me.
Love that. For my 50, I feel I'm looking at the now Prinks Tires USL Cup. Which, have you ever seen a Prinks tire in real life?
Never.
Like.
It's not even in motorsports.
I think 3 USL League One teams make the playoffs.
3 expansion.
I think we're going to have.
In the cup.
Make the knockouts. You're saying,
I think there's playoff teams, man.
Yeah, only 3 teams make
Bump
it.
that up to at least 90, Kaylor. Bump that one up to 90.
in the cup, I think at least 3 teams from League One make the knockouts from the USL Cup. Especially looking at a lot of these groups. I mean, I have it up here. I'm looking at Group 5. Is it a stretch to say that Portland Hearts of Pine might be the best team in Group 5 through Westchester, New York, Hartford, Rhode Island, Brooklyn?
Hold
You
that
say
thought.
Rhode Island, but I
I
don't
would.
know if they're
Hold that
necessarily a
thought.
better team.
No, hold that
So-
thought. I've
Taylor-
got Kaylor. I'm ready to. I'm ready to build on
Okay.
what you're cooking at 10.
Okay. Then I'm looking over at Group 6, where Greenville won the group last year. You see Charlotte, whom they are hinting that Luis Alvarez is coming back, which would be huge for them. Don't know if that's enough to make them a contender necessarily, but I believe in the Richmond Kickers. We already talked about that. I love FC Naples and South Georgia Tormenta, Sarasota. I love what they're building. Tampa Bay, of course, is the big one out there, but if they lose one game and decide the cup isn't that important, that's 3 winners from League One. Not even talking about the wild card, which of course I want to talk about the group that Birmingham's in, because I mean, I will never take a chance to just talk bad, apparently. Even though I really like this offseason. I don't know why I'm being so negative. One Knox and Chattanooga are in that group. And yes, FC Tulsa as well. But I love Chattanooga's offseason still. I can't believe I'm saying that. But there are 4 realistic winners through the group stage outright that I see. And so I think it's at least 3 make the playoffs or knockouts.
Okay.
I like it.
We got 10.
Phil, you want to go ahead with this? Like you've got something connected here.
Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. 10% Portland Hearts of Pine League Cup double.
Ooh.
League One winners and Prinks Cup
Oh.
winners. I just love what Portland's doing. They're really like I think like the difference between last season is like they get, they want to make sure that they show that they're a serious outfit. They want to put together a competitive team, all this sort of stuff. The way they've been moving this offseason to me is like very serious on-field movement. And I like the squad they're putting together. I think relative to last season, they've definitely improved. And the way they played towards the end of last season, they literally were a kick away from making knocking out Velocity.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that they've got the raw materials. It's just a matter of could they put it together. And I agree that I think they have the easiest route out of the group. And if you make it into the knockouts of the Prinks Cup, literally anything is possible. And teams having to go to Portland in that is not like that is a very tough away day for a lot of teams. So I don't know. I think there's something there. Plus, I wore the hat, so I was like, I'm going to bring the Portland Heat today. Yeah. So Hearts of Pine League Cup double, first ever League One team to hoist the Jägermeister / Prinks Tires Cup for a shot/ride at glory.
Love it.
He's right at Gloria thing. Like if not, it needs to be. Yeah.
Hey, this is free marketing material for Prinks and company.
I mean, I love it. I really do. I think that League One, okay, I'm going to say something absolutely bat crap crazy to add on to what you just said. I weirdly think that the USL Cup might be their easier path to winning a trophy, like an actual cup. I maybe the Players' Shield is one thing, but depending on the draw and like what kind of happens there's a world where they find themselves in the final fairly easily, especially, and maybe the League One finals would not be the same way, but I almost think that could be their easiest path.
The one thing that I definitely have going, and which bumps this, into this 10% territory, is the fact that with the way that the Open Cup is structured this year, and the good teams are the only ones that like qualified for the Open Cup from the championship, there will be a handful of like lower down championship teams who really prioritize the League Cup. So that's the only thing that is going against them, is there's going to be teams who aren't playing in the Open Cup who will definitely want to prioritize the League Cup. But I don't know. I think it's still possible. And at 10%, that's where the wild stuff happens. Now, last year, I said that Noah Fuson would win the Golden Boot. So listen, these are unlikely. I wanna really. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm saying there's a 10% chance.
Well, Phil, you mentioning the Open Cup kind of ties into my 10% chance, and I'm going to put my 10% on. We have a team from USL that makes the semifinals of the Open Cup. I'm basing this mainly down to scheduling. So we have pretty much all the USL teams are entering in the first round. The quarterfinals of the Open Cup occur on May 19th, where MLS's league stoppage for the World Cup is on May 25th. I'm betting on that. At some point, we're going to get a few USL teams into the quarterfinals. I think we had just Pittsburgh this past season who made it that far. But if there's an MLS team in that stage and they still have a league game to go and the World Cup break is within a week, they're not going to be fielding that strong of rosters, in my opinion, for that game. Or players' heads are already going to be at the World Cup there. That is a very sneaky good opportunity for a USL team who just needs to make the quarterfinals at that point to have a really good chance to possibly pull off an upset and then play in the semifinals, which would occur in September.
Yeah, that break is going to be weird. Y'all are going to have to remind me that that's happening. We'd be like, and by the way, we're hitting pause.
If you combine it, it's Hearts of Pine winning Jaeger, winning League One, and making the semis in the Open Cup. Think about that.
I'd buy a house with a
what's the
$10
parlay?
wager.
What's that parlay payout?
Yeah, a lot.
I might actually throw $1 down on that and see what happens.
If only there were sports books who put out futures on USL and not just game by game.
I just gonna walk into MGM up in Detroit, be like, I have a bet to place.
I mean, I'm once again just going to tell you, if you're placing parlays on USL futures, call the hotline.
If you're not placing 12-leg parlays on the US Open Cup first round, what are you doing?
If you're not doing that and you're not playing in the competition, what are you doing? Like, if you're not Miami United and you're not betting on yourself.
It was like Pete Rose. They never bet against themselves.
They bet on themselves to win.
John?
Yeah, so I threw some shade at Jacksonville a minute ago, and I want to be positive about them because I've just been dragging them in everything I've wrote and said this offseason. So 10% chance Emilio Escalainen wins the Golden Boot. This is a guy that with St. Louis City in Next Pro had 7 goals on 9 XG, which in Next Pro, that's pretty good. Playing time is a little bit less consistent. It's a weird environment. He's 6'3". The coaching staff in St. Louis said he would have got MLS minutes if not for weird international rules. In the world where Jacksonville is competitive, it'll be because he kind of Peter Wilson's it and drags them over the line and really breaks out as that kind of player. It also feels like a wide open year in the Golden Boot, frankly. Cal Jennings is gone. You think about some of the teams that have gone up and down this offseason. So why not? Is kind of what I'm thinking.
And the son of Jussi Jääskeläinen, famous former goalkeeper for Bolton Wanderers and other Premier League teams, which when you said the name, I was like, surely they're related. And it is indeed his dad. Finnish nationality, right? Place of birth, Bolton.
Norwegian, born in Leeds or Manchester, whichever one it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It was Leeds.
Okay. I mean,
it was Leeds. And please don't say Manchester to him.
Well, I love that one. Also, sorry, Sporting Jacks. I should be asking more questions about you, but is Peter Wilson just the least talked about Golden Boot winner ever?
Yes.
Yes.
It's because he scored like all of the goals in their last 10 games. Like he just
Yeah.
went on a heater when Oakland was kind of already eliminated, and it took some of the fun out of it.
I mean, it was down to him and oh my God, who was down in Miami last year? Bonifilio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardest working man in showbiz down there, Bonifilio.
Yeah,
Do
but
it
it
my
also
damn,
bolsters
do it my
like,
damn self.
like, the theory that it's gonna be a guy from a mediocre team that wins this thing again.
Milano Losky from Orange County a few years ago. I mean,
Don't tell Andy that, but yeah.
that was not a good team. It was a wooden spoon golden boot. It was very cool. JC Obregon-esque.
Do you think there's-
Obregon is Milano Losky-esque, but still.
Do you think there's any shot at Sporting Jacks being like, yeah, they're not like, they don't look like anything right now. And we were kind of saying the same thing about their Super League entry, and they're like really good.
I think one thing that this is me looking at their W League and League Two teams as well, just trying to see patterns here. They were really strong in their recruitment. I think that in terms of attacking prowess, the college to pro pipeline is a little bit easier right now through the Super League than it is the championship. So I think they're going to have a lot harder of a time to get their feet underneath them. Not to say they can't be really good
They only signed
players.
one college kid, which I thought was going to be the strength of them. Like it's a bunch of imports from England and next pro guys. The starting back line is probably Montreori and Wahab Akwe. In 2026, dude, that's bad.
Hey. Wahab Akwe, I mean, he was doing just fine until he was like banished to the Shadow Realm by Wilmer Cabrera. So
Alex?
I think that there is only a 10% chance that Forward Madison makes the playoffs this year.
Yes.
is there like a
I'm
10%
not-
chance that Forward Madison fields a team? Like who's gonna play for them?
Unless there's some magic that they have not announced yet. I don't know what is going on there with that. I think it's a rebuilding year. Next year, sure, back in it. But I don't know if I've ever seen a rebuild that brings back one single player from the previous year. That's just crazy to me. It's also the last contract year for the coach. They got a new sporting director to take that off his plate. I think that there's a lot of changes happening in that organization over this year that is going to keep them out of contention for this season.
Which is bizarre because they started off the off season with Mark Segbers, and I thought, oh my God, Forward Madison's going nuclear, and then they did nothing else.
I mean, there's still a lot of names out there. Still something they could do over the next few weeks. That could change my mind. But as of right now, that's how I feel about their season right now.
There's like the framework of okay center backs with McCamey coming in from NYCFC2, and I liked Humphrey at Las Vegas. Jackson Castro kind of cooked as a 10 for Vancouver too. And beyond that, like there's just not a roster here. And obviously there are guys that have signed and aren't announced yet. It's hard to gel when you're just resetting. We've seen it with Miami, like is the team I think about, where years on end they're a brand new roster. I'm not saying Madison is that level of ineptitude, but it illustrates the challenge they're going to face for sure.
They'll probably still
All right.
beat Richmond.
I have death taxes. I have my 10, and this is again in line with my thing that I always do in the preseason, which is I'm way too excited about a team and I just cannot stop thinking about it, and I'm doing way too much. There's a 10% chance that in their final season there, Detroit City hosts the USL final.
Whoa.
That would be pretty cool.
I'm looking at their roster, and again, 10%, but I am dreaming on Maxi Rodriguez, Kobe Hernandez, Foster midfield. I am just dreaming on that midfield. And then going forward, we saw what Smith, Cedinho, there we go. We saw what they could do, like when they were running hot. We saw how good they could be. Juve was a great player. Lexington never seemed to get his feet underneath him with Detroit. If that goes right, you trust the back line of Amaminsa, Hopegund, Bryant, and Saldana or Herrera in the back line or in the very back. From there, I like every single bit of this. If everything clicks on this team, it's one of the better teams in the East if it clicks.
What they did last week, getting Callum Montgomery in central defense, was kind of clarifying for me. He was a winner of about 2/3 of his aerial duels in the Canadian Premiership. That's a crazy number, but he's also a very good left-footed passer. So the way that Detroit sets up, right, they want Amaminsa to defend like a left-sided center back, but be able to push up that flank. Montgomery is the perfect player to put next to him and just be the anchor. So now you've got a left side with Amaminsa and Aiden Stanley. You talk about the midfield. I think Atus Diouf really found his stride late last year. At top four is bold. Like they're going to be in the mix for it, I think. I'm not sure if they're going to nail it down. But why not Detroit when it comes to the playoffs if everything goes to plan?
Interesting top 10 that gets in. Top 10 or 10%. Bob Lilly.
That's the most zero I've ever seen.
Today I learned a new word, roster baiting.
Yeah, I was going to say that comment.
Thank you, Frank. I'm going to use
That's all
that.
we can do in the preseason. That's
Dude,
all
I was
we
in
can do.
the trenches of SB Nation comment sections doing that same thing.
I did not use this 90-50-10 to register any displeasure about Locomotive, so I just want everybody to acknowledge that. But my second thing is that I want to register and just have it on the record how pissed I am specifically at the transfer business of New Mexico and Phoenix, because they are playing in my face. They're signing players specifically to piss me off. You know how many times I've talked about Sofian Jafal on this effing show, and now he plays for New Mexico? I'm beside myself. Luke Biasi signing for Phoenix. They're literally just playing. I said he was one of the best players of the season at the end of the year show after the final, and he signs for Phoenix. They're doing business in a way that is specifically designed to make me angry. It's like Twitter. It's like if Twitter was doing transfer business. Just rage bait every which way.
I will say on the El Paso front, I am once again a little bit higher than I think a lot of people are on them. I think they're a playoff team. I do. A lot of that comes down to I love Abraham Romero. I think he is an upgrade in the goalkeeping department, and I love Jamali Waite. But I do think Romero is a quality player who's going to fit really well with the back line that he has in front of them. He's a decent enough shot stopper. He's a really good passer if that's what they need him to be. I think that he is an upgrade on Jamali Waite, which we saw how big he came up with them with El Paso this year. On top of that, Rubio Rubin, Andy Cabrera, you're great, but you would rather have Rubio Rubin. So it feels like you got upgrades in two key positions up top and at the back. I'd like El Paso's transfer business, even though it has not been enough.
I'm mostly concerned about the fact that one, we're like exceedingly thin in a number of areas. And not to make this a Locomotive podcast, but the main issue that I have is like going into, especially with the way that Guillermo Ortiz played at the end of last season, going into like the first game with Palermo Ortiz and Tony Alfaro as potentially your first choice center back pairing. That's not great when you have a team that has the most depth at center back. Like that's just not, it's just not good. I think they're doing a thing where like Carl Sante and Chumasi are probably going to play central midfield instead of center back. And your other options like at center back are Noah Dolenmeyer and 16-year-old Kenneth Hoban. So like who has played exactly 1 minute of USL Championship up till now. So I just don't feel great about the depth. I think central midfield, they haven't upgraded like quality wise in central midfield. And despite the Rubin signing, they don't have another wide attacker aside from Moreno, and Beto Avila, while serviceable, is not like a top level guy. And when he was out wide, he was less effective. So I don't know. It's just a weird roster. The Abraham Romero signing, I think, is fine. And he was like pretty not great at Colorado Springs last year on loan. So I worry about whether he's like too far removed from some of these years where he was like really good in like Lafsey's system and stuff. But
I thought he was really good in the year that Colorado Springs won it all. But I thought
Herrera?
either it got hurt.
that was Herrera. Yeah.
Herrera
But
played every minute that year.
Did he play every minute? So it was last year then.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, Romero was last year, and
Romero.
he only made 5 appearances and he conceded 9 goals. So it's not
I mean,
a great
did you see the
return.
back line in front of
but-
him.
That's true.
Yeah, I also don't highly rate El Paso's back line right now, so I'm concerned.
The midfield and center back groups are like
Yeah.
abominable in this version of the championship. There's
And
no
word-
twos around it.
And word on the street is that the team has like signings that they're waiting to announce for visa purposes. And I'm like, you're relying on internationals in this administration? Like, do you see what they're doing? Like, why would we possibly be relying on players that have to clear visas when they're like, will people be able to come to the World Cup? I don't know. Maybe. Like, we'll see.
Do we have any extra, by the way, 90s, 50s, 10s that we wanted to throw out there, but we're not able to, or maybe it didn't like fit very well?
I almost 90'd that Louisville wins the Players' Shield again, but that felt boring.
I almost 50 that Louisville was going to smash every point record ever this year.
Yeah, I just think they're great. What more is there to say?
I think that's the issue is we don't talk about Louisville because of how good they are, but like because they're not an interesting conversation at this point because it's like, oh, look at us, we just signed Donovan to be our new striker. Shut up. Like
It's like the low hanging fruit of is it 50-50 that Lexington is actually going to make the playoffs?
imagine. I mean, I could have thrown in a 10% that 10% Lexington makes the playoffs. I thought about just throwing in there fast, but yeah. It's there.
10%
What other
they make the playoffs?
yeah. Let's go on with it. What else? Like, is there another one that you guys had?
Well, I was gonna say 50%, like on the Lexington Louisville thing, 50%. Like, there's a red card in each meeting of these teams this year.
That's fun. What will we put a percentage chance that the final will be a Blue Grassico?
It's still nuts that that's possible because I was almost like Kaler.
Yeah,
Both those teams are in the East. That doesn't make any sense. How could that?
One is more east than the other.
that feels like a nice 10%.
I like that
Yeah.
as a 10.
10.
Yeah,
Just too big of
even
a
outside
league
the strictures
Too
of
many-
the game, just like
and
10%.
too many variables with Lexington.
I wouldn't
yeah.
I wouldn't hate it as a drivable final also for myself. So I'm not against it wholly. It would be the funniest possible final to have two interstate rivals from two different conferences, like intrastate rivals, I guess.
I mean, I think let's see. I was going to give another one with Lexington, but I just don't remember what it was. Okay, and I don't mean to be mean to Lexington, but I do think this highly of their roster. What's the percentage chance that they finish below the top 4 line in the West?
50.
Okay, so if you've got Tulsa, New Mexico, and Sacramento as teams that feel like they are very strongly in the mix, can Lexington drop below another team like San Antonio with what they've done? Oakland, as I've mentioned a couple times, OC is consistent if nothing else. Like there are some
El
contenders
Paso
there.
could finish 4th for no reason, like last year.
That's true.
Yeah.
People around Phoenix are very high on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Lexington is top 4, but I don't know, 20%.
I think, and
30?
I do think the West will be a lot better this year than
I
last
do
year.
too.
And that's no shade on Tulsa, like for winning the West last
Yeah,
year. It's just like I think the bulk of the West will be more consistent, maybe, or just a little stronger.
I had 150 that I wanted to throw out there with Chattanooga. I think there is a 50% chance that they host the USL League One final.
That's crazy.
I think that they could be top 2 with Portland. And all it takes is Portland getting knocked out and they run it through.
I need them to announce signings. And I know that's just like they don't do media ever in Chattanooga, but I want some signs of life.
Every time I hear someone say signings, because I've also been trying to conjure those in El Paso context, I always think of the offseason when Liverpool was trying to strengthen and they signed Danny Ings, and a whole internet meme was born of, we said signings, not sign-ings. So I'm waiting for Danny Ings to pop up at one of these teams as I'm waiting for signings, and they're like, here you go.
Got it.
Danny Ings is now playing for Sheffield United.
I was gonna say, I wonder if he's kicking around somewhere. He's a couple of years from a nice USL championship. Dane Yuma.
Imagine. I just want to throw it out there really fast because I've been super negative. It's not a percentage. I really enjoy Legion's roster build, and I'm massively on the copium right now because I'm way too high on this team. I'm just going to be completely honest, and I think I'm so negative because I'm trying to bring myself down to earth.
You're gonna fight for a playoff spot. The signings have been too additive, and I think they all work with what Heaps is gonna move this team towards tactically. So there's reason to be hopeful.
CEO head coach is still the funniest possible thing.
That's crazy work.
The point
Any
guard,
other? Oh,
the
go
other
ahead.
guard on the forward, the center, the entire organization.
I don't know why we didn't just do 3-player coaches. It worked well for Louisville. Why didn't anybody try copying that one? Well, wait, are all 3 of those players now just coaches? Because it was Spencer. It was oh my God, what's his name? He was there for Niall McCabe. And was it OMB?
I'm looking, because I always get confused if it was Del Piccolo or not. Spencer, George Davis, and Paolo Del Piccolo. I think Del Piccolo is on the staff right there. I don't know what George Davis IV is doing right now.
He was the all-time minutes leader in the USL Championship for a minute, and
For a hot minute, yeah.
And And then Hugh Roberts.
Oh,
was
he's
just
he's
like,
in the Lou City organization, so not quite, but
They're all
almost.
coaching.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. Danny Ings is younger than Corey Herzog. Now that's what I need to know. All
Kind of
right.
hurts my brain. Yeah.
Final thoughts, USL thoughts for the night. No. Phil, you look like you have something.
There,
Or did you pull
I was
something
going to say
back and
there
check
was
the mark?
my last USL thought for the night is a nice bookend here with the whole Peter Luxon playing career thing of his last season playing fake games in USL Pro for FC Dallas was 2014, which was the debut season, like the expansion season of Sacramento Republic, whose captain was Rodrigo Lopez. So they did overlap there as well, which just I liked that tidbit, the fact that they were in the league at the same time, quote unquote, even though Peter Luxon never played an official game in USL. So yeah.
I love that. Love it. All right. Final thoughts on the night. John?
Boy. Okay, shouted this out in the newsletter. Read Wuthering Heights, which people may remember as a thing they didn't enjoy in high school literature classes. Go read a classic book. Like, challenge yourself to do something outside of your comfort zone. I found it intellectually rewarding and more interesting than I maybe expected. There's also a movie coming out, which was kind of the motive behind this whole thing. But yeah, go read something. People don't read enough. That's my take for the day.
Sure.
Damn kids aren't reading.
Yeah, right? I'm too young to be able to say that, but like, yeah, kind of get off my lawn.
But also real. All right. Alex.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned reading because I grabbed this from a little free library.
There we go. Alex is mind melding with me here.
I'm gonna give it the good old college try.
Faulkner is hard, I will say.
It's like, okay, that's like an American classic I've heard. Let's see what happens. So yeah, that's mine.
Let's go.
Love it. Ryan?
Yeah, I liked the Cadillac livery for the upcoming F1 season. I thought it looked pretty cool, and when it was unveiled at the Super Bowl. But yeah, very excited for the Daytona 500 this weekend, just to have like other motorsports occurring on the weekend. So that'll be consuming a lot of the weekend.
Phil?
On the reading kick combined with TV, the new like Game of Thrones spin-off, if you want to call it that, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, is like in its season. It's a shorter show than like what people would have been used to with Game of Thrones, and it's also a much more lighthearted show, but it's based on a series of novellas that George R. R. Martin wrote, like by the same name, a group of novellas, but it's the first one, The Hedge Knight. In terms of a story, if you're like, I don't want to read Game of Thrones because it's like fantasy or because it's unfinished, what I can say about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and specifically each of the novellas, is they are discrete stories that have a beginning and a middle and an end, and they are satisfying in that they end. Okay. And it's extremely well written. It's a great story, and the way that they've done the adaptation on TV is really cool. It's a much more like lower fantasy story. Like it feels just like a medieval history. It takes place at a joust tournament. Like it's not there's no magic or dragons or anything like that. It's just about a guy. And the show's been really well done, well written, all that sort of stuff. And it is a lot more, it's shorter and a little bit more digestible than the Game of Thrones, I would say, easier to get into. So if you're looking for something like that, I would recommend it. And if you're looking for short stories to read, because each novella is like 100 pages or something, very like easy reads. They're just very, very fun. And they have some nice like plot twists and stuff. And yeah, just very enjoyable. So I agree, read books. And then I'll also watch the corresponding media, I guess, because that's what you have to do.
Read books, but have it be a cheat code where you're doing it because you want to watch something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to read more. I really do. Every time I read, I always enjoy it, and then I always say, "Ugh, I don't want to read," and then I'm like, nah, I don't want to, and then I always do it. I'm like, man, I should do this more, and it's just a constant cycle. Okay, I have two. First, I do want to talk about Super Bowl halftime show really fast.
Hell yeah.
Did not realize how many Bad Bunny songs I knew. I was like, oh wait, I actually know like almost all of these. I did not realize that. So there's a lot more bangers than I knew of. Didn't understand it, but also one of my favorite bands of all time is Pearl Jam. So what do I know? And also and this is probably not people listening to this. If you were watching the halftime show with some of the finest Latinas on the planet, and all you could focus on with the two fellas in the background, we got to have a conversation.
I saw a video today where a guy was like, yeah, I watched the halftime show. I was barking at the TV like a dog. My family had to peel me away from the screen.
I mean, seriously, the choreography was unreal. Like the logistics behind that
so good.
choreography was
even
just
if you didn't like
mind-blowing.
the music, the
Mind-blowing.
production design of that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I say I have to rewatch it because I watched it in real time. I was like, I think I understand what he's doing. But so at the one point, great comedy beat in that he crashes through the ceiling.
Yes.
Was it into like a white family's home? And was it a
Yes.
joke about the fact that he was now in the living rooms of a lot of people who don't typically listen
yeah.
to his music? Like, was that the joke?
It might have been the joke, but yes, it was a white family's room because if you notice the people who are standing on the porch, it's all just
Right.
white people. So yes, I do think that's the joke.
I thought that was hilarious. And also like it just spoke so much to his like sensibility, which has like this comedic feel while still being very like earnest and everything. Cause like his SNL appearances, all that stuff have been genuinely funny. Anyways, yeah, I just like what a performance, what a production. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
The second one, today I was cleaning out my office. I am following a director who have been there for like 20 years. So stuff just accumulates. And so I'm finally like cleaning things out. And I found like DVDs and CDs from that band from like 2008. And I was like, hey, I'm putting these out here. If they're from this band from 2008, if anybody wants them, you can have them. And one of the kids was just like, why would I want something from 3 years before I was born? And I was like, oh no,
Because it's good stuff.
I was like, 2008 shouldn't be 3 years before you were born. That doesn't make sense. You can drive soon.
What were a couple of the artists or?
It was like their like the high school band. So like
Oh.
it was like their recordings that they have done.
I thought you
So,
found like some
I'm-
Silver Sun pickup CD or something.
No,
2008.
I found a lot of jazz stuff, a lot of classical music and stuff like that. A ton of jazz music too. But yeah, no, it was mostly that stuff. I was like, people's families were probably in this. They might want it. No, I just got called Unk and told me to like go to bed. Like it's ridiculous. So I guess that's about it for the show. We're going to go ahead. Don't think anything's going to change for people listening, but within the next month, we're going to be changing kind of who we go through. We've been doing StreamYard. We're going to be moving to a different source. That shouldn't change anything it definitely won't change the podcast side. People who watch live, it shouldn't change anything. But if anything does change, just kind of let us know so we can try to fix things as we go. You shouldn't have a noticeable change, but if it does happen, we apologize. We'll try to fix all the kinks as soon as we can. So all that said, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. This was always a blast. I always love the 90s, 50s, 10s, and cannot wait to start getting to full-on preview mode. So for the first and final time tonight, here's Alan's voice.
Thank you for watching another episode of the USL Show.
The USL Show is now proudly part of the Protagonist podcast family. Please go to protagnistsoccer.com to check out more work. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see everyone again next time.